Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar on accelerating lead generation. My name is Brian Montoya. I'm the head of growth over here at Sendspark and the host and producer of the podcast called I'm Not Selling You Anything. And I'm also a former B2B salesperson, but it's I guess we kind of all are sellers anyway in early stage. So today's topic, like I said, is lead generation and the strategies that have produced results for our panel of early stage B2B founders. At this point, I just kind of, let's hear a little bit about who they are. So we've got Bethany Stachenfeld, who is the CEO and co-founder of Sendspark, a video platform that helps sellers cut through the noise and connect at scale. Bethany, why are you qualified to talk about lead generation and new strategies? And how does your product help salespeople?
Hey everyone, it's great to be here. I'd say as qualified. I wouldn't exactly say like I'm an expert here, but I'm as qualified as everyone because we've just been running so many experiments at Sendspark, like for our own team, and then also working with our customers to run experiments for them. So I definitely have a lot of things that I can share from our personal experience and watching our customers in different industries. And then I'd say how Sendspark helps sales reps. So video is an amazing way to connect. But if you're using one of the more traditional screen recorders, you're kind of forced to repeat yourself. You're making a nearly identical video for every person, just recording video after video after video. And with Sendspark, we've added all of these like superpowers in to help you create personalized videos at scale. So you're able to personalize what needs to be personalized and automate everything else. And we'll definitely share some more ways that people are using personalized video over the
Awesome. Thank you so much for introducing yourself, Bethany. We're just going to keep going here. Alan Zhao is the head of marketing and co-founder of Warmly, which is software that de-anonymizes your website visitors and then converts them into warm leads for your sales team. Alan, why are you qualified to talk about lead generation and how does your product help salespeople?
Yeah, so I'm one of the co-founders here. I started out actually as the CTO, and then I moved into sales and most recently marketing. Warmly has gone through a couple different pivots now. This is our fourth product. So in about 1 year, we're almost at $1 million in ARR run rate. And so I've been there since the very beginning, from building it to selling it, using founder-led sales, and then now marketing it by trying to create the category around what we're doing. And fun fact, I used to be an SDR for about 3 weeks with a portfolio company named Octo, just to learn about the sales pain points.
Octo, nice.
Octo, yeah. And that's led us to the path we're on today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alan. And lastly, but certainly not last in our hearts, Tom Slocum, the founder of the SD Lab and owner of the greatest goatee in B2B sales. The SD Labs helps early stage founders refine their top of funnel sales processes. Tom, aside from the incredible goatee, why are you qualified to talk about this? And how do you help salespeople?
Man, so one, I am a 16-year sales vet. So I've been doing this thing since 2007, all outbound, ran and developed some teams. And now I am the founder of my own company, which is helping organizations break through the noise through innovative prospecting methods and setting up their sales development teams successfully so they're repeatable. And what the SD Lab does and how we help salespeople is, again, helping them learn how to break through that noise, how to lean into process, people, and tech in a way so strategically that they can build that sustainable and repeatable sales motion and have it be enabled in the way that it should be. So excited to be here with everybody and talk about this stuff.
Awesome. Really excited, Tom, to have you on. PPT, people, process, technology.
Yes.
All right. We're going to move into the meat and potatoes of the conversation here. Our discussion is going to kick off here on the topic, obviously. So to kick us off, I guess, I'd love to know from each of you what your top, let's say, 3 lead generation strategies for B2B sales towards the end of the year and to get off to a good start in 2024. Let's start with, I know Tom stepped away for just a second. Let's start with Bethany. What can you share with us as far as lead generation strategies for end of year and to get started off well in 2024?
Yeah. So one thing I would just say it's important to think about is what's the goal of like lead generation at this point? Are you trying to generate leads that you can like close really quickly in the next what do we have, 3 weeks of the year? Or is the plan to like set the ball rolling for 2024? And then what I would think about is like, if you're trying to close quickly, especially depending on your sales process, it's probably a little late to start at the very beginning. So you'd want to go and target your most, like, you're already engaged people. So canceled accounts, free users who are hitting certain limits, accounts ready for expansion, people you've been nurturing like on LinkedIn for a bit, and like other people that are already like a warmer. And that's who's more likely to close sooner. And then if you're looking at 2024, just kind of starting conversations, you have a lot more flexibility, a lot more options, because there's no time pressure.
Alan, love to get your take on some of the strategies that you're working on.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point that Bethany brings up. It depends on the time horizon. I would say for the longer time horizon plays, we did things like category design, positioning, big lightning strikes, lots of launches, continue this thing we call it rolling thunder. And then our head of sales.
I'd love to hear a little bit more about this rolling thunder when you finish your thought, Alan.
Yeah, sure. So happy to chat more about that. Second one is omni-channel approach to marketing and sales and lead development. So we do LinkedIn automation, email automation. We also have live chat automation, thanks to Warmly, yours truly. And then we use a lot of Sendspark video, and we'll talk about more about that later. The last thing is leveraging audiences on where your buyers live. For us, all of our tools here are go-to-market tools. So LinkedIn is a big channel, and then we are fortunate to also be in YC, Techstars, and On Deck communities. So we do a lot of discount deals, launches within those communities as well, and that's driven a lot of traffic just because it's fishing close to your pond.
Fishing close to the pond, Alan. That makes a lot of sense. Just want to get Tom's quick thoughts right here as he step back. Tom, what are some of your thoughts on lead generation strategy that is working for you, that you're working on for leads end of 2023 and to get started off on a good foot in 2024? What do you got?
Yeah, again, right? Being innovative, being creative, trying to not do what everybody else is doing, right? Josh Braun started years ago, kind of the blue circle and a sea of red X's, right? Being different. And so one of those innovative methods is voice memos, right? Through LinkedIn. If you're
voice
a social
emails
seller,
or voice notes, I'm sorry.
Voice notes. Voice
Okay.
notes. Yeah. So if you're a social seller, not everybody can be, I understand that. But if your audience does live on LinkedIn or in social, using those voice memos are killer, right? Being under 60 seconds, trying to get out a complex thought versus this big note that will come across in that DM, you can condense it to a voice note. They're not scalable yet, right? You can't repeat them. You can't copy them, AI them. Right. So it's very authentic and personal because you took that effort and they can hear your tonality. So that's a huge one. Kind of like what Alan said, I recently became a customer of Warmly. I'm using it. I love it. Being able to see that traffic come in, getting those warm leads enriched, kind of understanding who's looking at your site is another way to enable your sellers right now. Throw it on your website, let those things come through. And you kind of get to see how your cold email's doing and your outreach is doing because those hits will start coming in, right? So it's kind of a metric. And I know we're going to dive into that. So that's one you can look at too. But yeah, those are just some things, voice notes, being very personalized, smaller emails, not trying to, shoot your shot in one email, but being smaller, 50, 70 words, asking open-ended questions. Those are some things that are doing pretty well right now.
Alan, are voice notes a part of the strategy, or any audio a part of the strategy over at Warmly? I know you guys are, all are experiencing some great growth here. Just recently saw you growth unhinged.
Yeah.
Oh.
We actually jumped straight to video, Sendspark. I mean, Sendspark has been phenomenal. It's in almost every single email and LinkedIn sequence that we send out. And if you guys already know about it, they have the dynamic video background. So it very much personalizes the video and it shows their site. Like it grabs the domain of the email that you're sending to, it scrapes the website, and then your video of you talking over their site is extremely personalized. The next best thing would be including that in the thumbnail, but I know you guys are probably working on that.
All right. Now,
don't sleep on video.
No, it makes total sense. And that, just so everyone knows that's tuned in, that wasn't even planned. It's not even part of the notes. Everyone just uses Sendspark. I'm really happy.
We're
this
big
job
fans.
Is made really easy.
We're big fans. Alan teed it up.
It's funny because you mention it sometimes and you can tell when it's scripted, like this was very organic. So I'm very happy inside. Awesome. So those are really good points. Bethany, have you kind of, Bethany kind of runs our sales team here with Selena. Have you started to incorporate any just voice notes, or do you also go straight to video? I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but we gotta know.
I mean,
She doesn't use video.
I go straight to video. I mean, I'm trying to think. I use voice notes a lot internally, like to send,
Brian,
like,
don't post that.
yeah, like I think I sent you a voice note yesterday. Yeah, like for that, I think it can be nice. But to be honest, I haven't done any for I'm just all video.
All right, no, that's fine. So I guess what I wanted to kind of pivot into is kind of some of the more popular lead generation strategies. I messed up lead generation, but not de-anonymizes. Alan, what's going on here? I clearly was practicing about saying de-anonymizing. So again, wanted to kind of go through some of these popular lead generation strategies and what you think of them, starting with content marketing. I guess with Alan, what types of content are most effective for attracting and engaging leads for Warmly? What are you seeing?
Yeah, so for content marketing, this might be a good time to talk a little bit more about the category creation, category design.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because we were originally name tags. So, we have this name tag right here. It's a very beautiful product. We entered into 2022 after the summer of when we're going into like the tech mini recession. And we realized that you need to build a need to have product. And we decided to enter into sales tech. And sales tech is a red ocean. There's lots of competitors in the space. When we first built out the tool, we could get a couple of different customers, but it was very hard to move further up market because then we started running up against competitors like Drift, like Qualified, like all these other guys. And the way they looked at us was like, I don't know what you guys do. Even if we tried to explain it, it seems like you guys are Drift plus this. So they thought of us as two different companies put together, one company, but cheaper. And if you read a little bit more about category creation, 75% of all the market value goes to the category king. And so it doesn't pay to be second or third or fourth because you're just finding scraps, the best of the rest. So you want to be king in your category. And so we set out to really differentiate ourselves and build this new category around autonomous sales orchestration. And we knew that there was a lot of intent tools out there. Intent's not a new thing. It's been around since like demand base for decades now. But what was different or what was missing was capturing the intent in that closing window. Buyers are only on your website for maybe 8 seconds. Digital attention span is 8 seconds before they jump. And so can you get a rep on there fast enough? If not, can you have automation in place to activate and engage with leads faster? And so we decided to build Warmly. And it's more around orchestrating all of your sales tools together that you already use, like Outreach, HubSpot, Salesforce, Slack, and then capturing the lead as much as you can with automation and then looping in the human once they're ready for a conversation. And so we created that messaging. We found our unique point of view. You can read about this more in Play Bigger. One of the authors was Chris Lockheed.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
somewhere.
it's definitely worth a read. And we changed our website. We redid our branding. And the big thing we did was we made sure the lightning strike was our Series A announcement. And that was our big chance to just take over LinkedIn for one day, get all the influencers we know to post about us, to comment on our LinkedIn posts. We got that post to 100,000 views, over 1,000 likes. And so for a day, it felt like a lot of people were talking about us. And that percolated into the rest of our communities. People came to our website. That was our main content. You can see a massive spike. And so that was our content play, and that's paid off dividends, and it's compounded into the rest of our quarters.
So you said that. So I know that, folks come in, cold onto the website. Do you have anything set up where, I guess kind of social media plays in, maybe across X or across LinkedIn? Does any of that play a part in the Warmly story?
When you say, does it play a part of the Warm story? Like, do we use LinkedIn to enhance?
Yeah. Do you use, sorry. So as far as social selling is concerned, where does
yes.
LinkedIn kind of play a piece in there, or possibly X?
LinkedIn was like 90% of our business for the first 6 months. So it's played a huge part. We use LinkedIn automation tools like Salesflow.
Okay.
And what that does, it helps you auto connect. You just get a sales navigator search query, put in all your filters. Like, I want this company size, this ICP, function is that, I want buyers only. And then you get the full list out. You put that LinkedIn URL into Salesflow, and then Salesflow helps you auto connect. And it's very effective. We have our whole team on it. And so we're auto connecting every single day people that we want to be speaking to and including our audience on LinkedIn. And then we post on LinkedIn. So gradually, Max and I and the rest of our go-to-market team has been growing our following base. So we grow our follower base, and we post, and we try to make our posts reach as broad an audience as possible. And that has been driving most of our inbound.
Awesome.
And
Tom, thank you so much for that answer, Alan. Tom, how are you leveraging social media to kind of drive business for the SD Lab? Love that. I mean, I first learned of Tom Slocum on social media, so I'd love to see how you're leveraging it still and kind of what's changed.
Yeah, I started the journey 3 years ago, 2020. And social media and content kind of changed the game for me on a personal level through the trajectory of my career, and obviously opening up my own company because of it. And now we're 15 months in and LinkedIn has done it for me, right? Being able to be in the community. I think it's kind of the way you always talk about it is I am very problem centric in my content. I'm not selling. I'm not putting out all the crazy, hey, follow me here, click this, dropping these comments. I just try to talk to the community about their problems and bring that into my content. I like the water cooler. People come to the comments, we start talking, we get into thoughts and conversation around just the problem. And from that trickles into the DMs, the inbounds, and the conversations that then come from that, or the referrals, right? Like you said, you learned about me because of social media. It helps me be in rooms that I normally wouldn't be in.
Yeah.
You can go viral pretty quick. Not me, right? 3 years in the game, never had a viral post, but I'm okay with it. But, it helps, right? You can go one-to-one. You can mass email, you can personalize and go one-to-one. You can do all these great things, but you're still kind of one-to-one. Where a great post, when you're super problem-centric and really talk about something that hits the hearts of your prospects and buyers, that thing could pop off. Like Alan said, he had a whole day taking over a platform, 100,000 views, that trickled on for the next year worth of content and leads and conversations that he can then work for the brand. And so I think if you're a founder, if you're a company, you should be looking at social media, because that's where a lot of these newer generation of buyers are going for content. They do searches on TikTok. Brian kills it on TikTok, right? You become familiar in these social places that's where people are looking for their next source of information. Bethany doesn't care to get a cold email, but if she's out there on social media and kind of seeing her friends or fellow people talk about this product, that might lead her to become an inbound. So I think your outbound becomes your inbound, right? And that's kind of how that circle works.
Awesome. Tom, now I just want to clarify and correct you. You have gone viral. I did have you on I'm Not Selling You Anything once, and I think about 80 people listened. So
we did have a good one.
Come on, dude.
That was a good one.
My second or third ever episode of the podcast. So thank you so much.
Back, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for that answer.
Yeah.
Bethany, how are you leveraging social media? And I guess we can kind of dive into the omni-channel approach that has kind of been floated a little bit and was talked about a little bit in the emails. And I think it's time to kind of really dig into that a little bit. So if you could give us a little bit more on the omni-channel approach at Sendspark that has helped fill our pipeline. I feel like people, maybe the folks on this panel as well, and everyone listening can take home and actually put into production.
Yeah, for sure. And I'd say we're doing a lot of similar stuff, so I won't necessarily repeat, but just, we're doing the LinkedIn automation for connection requests. And the way I think of LinkedIn automation, if you get like a bunch of like long, clearly automated paragraphs, like it's not just annoying, it's like cringy. So I think that's what people think of when they think of LinkedIn automation, but like you can do it really well. I think at Warmly, I'm sure you guys are doing great. Like all of your omni-channel stuff's great, but like just use it to connect, have a short message, you can respond and take it from there, but just it cuts out a lot of the manual work. And just in general with LinkedIn, if you're responding to other people's stuff. So one thing we do is if there's people we know we want to get in touch with, we'll start following them and then just engaging their stuff. And it's kind of like a give before you ask situation. You're amping up their stuff, so they like.
Could I jump in really a quick question with that,
go for it.
Bethany? What gives you the signal, and for everyone that clearly we're all using social media, what is a signal that you see a signal that tells people I'm ready to be prospected? I guess, Bethany, since you're already talking about it, what is something that you see that says they might be ready to buy?
A great
or
question.
Start a conversation.
Yeah, I think that there's specific things you can look for. Like if you're following them LinkedIn, you might notice they post certain things and you're like, oh, this means they're starting a new campaign, or it's just something will like tip you off like that. or even they're complaining about a competitor or something, and you're like, oh great, we're already friendly, I have the rapport, I could just go in there.
Yeah, you make friends by ripping on,
Yeah.
by a common enemy. Yeah.
I'm curious about you guys though. What else would tip you off that now's the time to like send that email or make the ask?
Yeah. Alan looks curious, like Alan's chomping at the bit.
Dragon's ready.
Yeah, everything we do is intent based. We don't really do anything cold. We don't do any blasts. So we bought 6 Sense. So we know when, by certain key topics, are you searching for one of our competitors? Even for our partners, like if someone's about to buy like a Salesforce and outreach, we have an email sequence that says, this is how we work with outreach. This is how we work with 6 Sense together. If you're already using 6 Sense, these are all brands that people are aware of. And then if we know they're going to a competitor, we say, this is exactly how we're different. You guys have most intent companies out there offer account-based information of website visit traffic. We do contact level information, and we have like little videos showing
Drill all the way down. Yeah.
all the way down because they're already familiar with like Zoom Info, 6 Sense, and all these other guys. And those guys do account. We do contact. This is the difference. You guys probably need contact to know who's actually on your site. And it's funny, like sometimes we did this one post. We did it for, I'm not going to say who, but maybe some people are already familiar with. One post went viral. And we pulled all the people that engaged with that post. And then we basically targeted that group of folks because we knew that they were already high intent or they commented they're engaged in some way. So that was one of our highest performing, highest.
Was that list pulled with Salesflow, Alan? I know you'd mentioned that tool earlier.
I think we used Phantom Buster for that.
We do that
Buster.
too. And we've used a mix of Expandy and Skylead. Any of the LinkedIn automation platforms will do it.
Yeah.
Tom, what are you seeing out there as far as kind of your market? What are the signals that say that these folks are ready to have a conversation with Tom and the SD Lab?
Is anybody ever ready? I'm just kidding. It can be tough, right? Not everybody wants to. It's the reason why a lot of people don't get into the streets of LinkedIn, right? And do that because they know what comes next, right? They're just like Alan and Bethany said, they'll come through, they get the post, they start messaging, right? So people won't actively get engaged. But when they are, it's kind of what Alan and Bethany said, looking at, did they make a post themselves talking about a certain topic? And then in that, checking the comments and kind of seeing where the conversation went. If they're like, hey, I'm evaluating tech stack for my team, that's a good one for me. I kind of want to see where they're going. I'm looking at the comments. And then I can come in and natively say, Brian, great post. I've seen a lot of people offer you some support. From what I'm seeing with the clients that I got going on, here's their tech stack that we're kind of deploying. Let me know if that would work for you, or if what are you looking for? And I'm happy to give you some more pointers. Now that DM turns into a conversation. They're like, oh, you can do that. I'm like, yeah. And then they come in, right? So it's like looking at stuff like that, looking at those triggers, and I use Sales Nav like no other, relationship map, kind of getting into those things. And I get insights there too, right? To see if there's growth happening, certain things, job listings, that kind of stuff lets me know if they're hiring a sales leader, that's time for me to kind of come in and have a conversation. Are you prepared for that? What are you having them tasked with doing in their first 90 days? All those things to where, again, you can be problem centric, be helpful, as Bethany said, give, and give some more. From there, you earn that trust and credibility to that conversation then comes into, damn, Tom, you know your stuff. Maybe we should talk. And it's like, yeah, I got you, right? And then we kind of go from there.
Awesome.
Can I add two more things that just came to me as you guys were talking?
Yeah.
So one is like, especially if you have a free product or different product tiers, one thing we do a lot is like actions in the actual product. So hitting upgrade limits, recording a certain number of videos, maybe they're ready for the next step and to start automate things. So anything you can track an actual like behavioral usage of your product, or like even events or just any activities you can track. And then another would be high intent website pages. So like people visiting your pricing page or a certain number of pages or certain things like that. And then that's where I'll give the shameless plug for Warmly. They have a support to let you like, track when people are on certain pages and reach out at exactly the right time. And that's really cool.
I guess what we wanted to I know we have a couple minutes left here. I wanted to finish up with this one question that was posed. The question to everyone here, and we'll start off with Alan, is what are some strategies that were working before that you needed to stop because they just stopped working and that you changed over? Like what have you stopped doing because it was no longer worth it?
Okay, this is really interesting. in the beginning, like I said
Ooh.
before, we leaned heavily into LinkedIn automation. So the
Okay.
sequencing tools that Bethany also mentioned too, connection requests, like a post, endorse a scale, this whole thing can be automated. And we scaled it out across all the people, and we booked meetings like no other, but they were not closing. Part of it was due to the market, but the other reason was because we did not layer in intent. So we were booking a lot of meetings, spending a lot of time, sending a lot of emails, getting our domains burned with accounts that just wanted to have like a
Yeah.
conversation with the founder. And so while that worked early on in founder-led sales, we needed to scale an actual process. And that's when we had to transition over into intent and then find these trigger points that Tom and Bethany are talking about.
Okay. Tom, is there anything that you recently started doing because one of the things that you were doing before just stopped working altogether?
What a toughie. I mean, everything just works for me, so I don't know. I'm just kidding. Like I said, I'll go back to voice notes, man. Voice notes really worked for me. The LinkedIn DMs weren't doing it for me. Just being able to
Right,
chat
right. It
in
just got too
there, or
busy in there. It gets too
it got
busy.
way too busy in there. And I started, if I send voice notes to like already salespeople in our little bubble, it may not be as effective. But when I
Right.
go into upmarket into like manufacturing or hospitality or some really cool industries, the voice notes just kill it. They just like,
They're not
they
used to it
want,
as much as our circle.
no, not as
Yeah.
our circle. And then they think it's mind blowing and they're like, how do I do it? How do I do that? And I got to like give them a little screenshot. And then all of a sudden I get like 3 back with like a second long because they don't realize they got to hold it. It's a
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And now we just start having a conversation, right? And so that really worked for me once the kind of text wall DMs just kind of got so noisy and so crazy that now I do voice notes. I started, instead of sending case studies or like PDFs and things, I actually started creating LinkedIn content to use in my sales funnel, like on purpose. So I would use content, make a post, and then use that post
Screenshot that
as,
and put it.
and put it in an email or send them a link and say, Bethany, I've seen your post around this. Maybe check this post out. This had some good conversation going on. Maybe there's some pointers in there for you to take a look at.
Yeah.
I
And
get
it
a
leads
free
them
like
into
out of
your
it.
social, and your page.
Yeah, get a free like out of it. They get into the comments. They then go to my profile. I get my profile views up. They kind of learn a little more, right? And it takes them down that journey. So I started creating content to use in my sales funnel. And so between that and voice notes, I've been doing pretty fairly well. It's been game changers for me.
Awesome. And we'll wrap up here with Bethany's answer. What were you doing before that seemed to just end up as a dead end and you kind of started doing something different? What wasn't working?
Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind is we used to write a lot of long form blog content to like drive
remember those.
search traffic. And at some point, like we just noticed it wasn't working. I think that with the ease of creating AI content, like Google's just like confused, and it's really hard to get pages at the top and it takes a long time. So one thing we've started doing is switching, instead of writing content, well, either we're posting directly to LinkedIn and saying, hey, we just want to get like what we're saying out. It doesn't matter if it drives search traffic or not. But then for SEO, we've actually been focusing on YouTube, like short form videos. So instead of making a super long blog post, it's keyword optimized and like trying to hack SEO where that system keeps changing, we're just making like really specific videos for specific keywords people may be searching, and found that they will rank a lot faster and just ultimately be a better experience for the person looking.
Do you have an example of something that may have ranked quickly when you didn't quite expect it? Like you said, you moved into this YouTube strategy, which I feel like is one
funny.
that
I was like testing it out. Like, so I was like, how far can we push this? Because it was working so well. And so I made a video that was like best video platform for agency, because it was happening so within like 4 hours, and it was like on the top for 4 hours. I made one for best loom alternative, like a video, and it was like on YouTube.
It's one of the top. Yeah. It's like your face on there. It's hilarious.
It's so funny. And when you search in Google, like the videos will show up at the top of the listing. And so it's just a really nice way to like skip all the like stuff about, blog posts and things. And of course, like if you're a normal sales rep, you might not have access to the company YouTube channel, but maybe if your marketing team will let you like start a new channel that just like thoughts from sales or something, or like, thoughts from our team, where you can just record. How I would recommend doing this is when you're on a discovery call, like make a note of what specific questions people are asking and assume that those are the same questions they're going to ask Google when they're searching for a platform.
Answer that as a video.
Yeah. And it's like question, answer, and you're going to like drive all these search terms. And you just like the videos we're doing are literally like Sendspark recorded videos. And then we add a nice thumbnail so it looks good, but like you don't need any fancy equipment. Just, you know, put your words out there and see what you can do.
Awesome.
Be authentic.
Yeah. And that's kind of what we're all about, not just at Sendspark, but literally everyone in this panel. And we've kind of reached the end here. It happened so quickly. We might have to extend it for the next one. I just want to say thank you to all our panelists here. We had a little conversation regarding some lead generation, what has been working for us, what wasn't working, what we've been doing differently. I just want to tell the audience, ask the audience, well, actually tell them thank you for joining us. Make sure to connect with us on LinkedIn, on social, and follow each of our companies. Again, we are Sendspark, Warmly, and the SD Lab. And I'm just excited. You're also going to be receiving, everyone that jumped in, everyone that registered, you're going to be receiving a follow-up email with this conversation, as well as promo codes for our products. So keep an eye out for that one. And again, Bethany, Alan, Tom, audience, thank you so much for joining us on a short little lead generation webinar. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Brian.
Bye.
See ya.